Jets are in the playoff race. But do we trust this team still?
Yeah, no. That's the big question. Do we trust this team in a playoff race? Uh, nice to have Michael back joining us. Michael, do you trust this team with this playoff race?
Do I trust this team? Yes. Will they get in? I don't know. Um, Depending on when this is posted, there's a big game tonight in Chicago.
Yeah.
Jets have a chance to pull within one. I think the Jets are playing the best since the Olympic break of the 4 teams or the 6 teams that are involved.
Yeah.
I think the more complete team is the Winnipeg Jets. But the question becomes, do they have it? Because to be honest, I was thinking about that Colorado game, the one they lost, and Winnipeg that they did. Oh boy, there's a last chance, no chance they go into Denver, they win that team. But guys, all you want is a chance. From where this team was when I left this show in about mid-November was last place and stumbling, and Connor Hellebuck was hurt. And the narrative of his team being old and slow, well, that seems to have passed. Seeing Brad Lambert, you're seeing Elias Salamonson, you're seeing a couple of other young, maybe not a younger guy, but a young guy in regards to this team in Isak Rosen, and as well as Cole Crosby.
No.
Bryson hasn't done much since he hasn't played. I was newish player, which was Cole Crosby this year. Finally getting an opportunity. Is it enough? I don't know, but by extension, they could lose 4 in a row and be right back in the lottery talk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Enjoy this ride while it lasts. I think they run out of racetrack? Realistically, yes. But none of the other teams have entirely pulled away, and that's allowed the Jets to get back into this thing.
Jets went 2-1 this week, and I would say their most impressive game was the win against Colorado for sure. Your thoughts on the Colorado game, Jordan?
It was amazing to see how fast we were, to see how we're playing as a team now. I mean, we still give up chances in the slot, but other than that, and Connor Helba been better than the Ranger game, not too far back. So
I would definitely say that was the most impressive game of the week. I would say, for Colorado being a fast team, we limited their chances quite a bit for sure. Didn't give them too much, but Hellebuck was big in that game. He made some big saves for sure. And Cole Perfetti, nice tip from the point and got a go-ahead goal with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
That was a big win for the Jets.
Guys, is it my imagination, or are we seeing a better Cole Perfetti the last 15, 20 games? As somebody that's been around hockey a fair bit, high ankle sprains are difficult to recover from. But again, and we can get into this and debate this all we want in the off season. I think priority number one is to try to find a center and some wingers that can play with Cole Perfetti.
Sure, yeah. We need a second line center. That's been a need for many years, for sure.
Yes.
But other than that, I mean, hey, 8 or 9 games left and you're still in it from where you were in December. We'll take it.
Yes.
My question to you, Jordan, do you think they can finish the job and get into the playoffs?
It would be nice, but realistically, it's hard to tell. 'Cause some nights this team looks good, some nights the team looks bad, some nights you don't even know what this team is.
I think they'll get in. I mean, they got help on the weekend with Nashville losing, but now it comes down to they have to win their game.
Yeah.
If they don't win their games, they're not going to make it. And I mean, they're not going to go undefeated for the rest of the season, but if they win their games, they'll get in.
Yes.
So
yes.
Now we'll get into some big league storylines. Leafs in Vegas news. Which move surprised you more? Toronto firing their GM or Vegas firing their coach?
They both surprised me because, well, not really Toronto because they've been struggling for years. But Toronto needed a shake up, in my opinion. They needed a different experience or a different GM leading the charge. And hopefully they do good in their search.
Yeah, my thing is to fire a GM is a pretty big move, especially this late in the season. Usually you do that in the off season, but I think it sends a strong message to the players that things have to change. Your thoughts on the Toronto GM firing, Michael?
Um, Listen, I think it was a long time coming, and I think if it's a scenario of you want to get a jump start on what this is going to look like in the off season, Broad, but again, I think it's one of those scenarios of this team is regressed. I mean, they were one game away from beating Florida last year in the second round. It was 3-2, got it, one in Florida in game 6, came home and completely no-showed in game 7.
Yeah.
The narrative is you can't no-show in game 5 and game 7, and then you have, I think, what was the end of the Mitch Marner era right after that game. Can't blame them the slightest for that. Team that has regressed, and to me, that has lost its sort of vision. They traded a lot of first round picks. Doesn't seem to be any hope on the horizon. Their prospects cupboards are empty. They don't have a first round pick. They might get it if they did a top 5 this year. They do not have at least a pick for 2 more drafts in the first round.
Wow.
And then this maybe leads to another question of, okay, which general manager is going to come in and pitch this? I feel that, and you can take it to the hot take area. Toronto Maple Leafs have to trade one of Austin Matthews or William Nylander to improve this roster in a significant way pretty quickly.
I think a big move like that would they need some prospects. They have to rebuild their prospect cupboard and their draft picks and maybe trading.
Is there not a bigger player that's regressed than Austin Matthews in the last 2 years?
Nah.
It's a market that cannot afford a rebuild. It's a market that doesn't want to stomach a rebuild.
Yeah.
But I think all they need to do is look east at what's happened in Montreal. They bit the bullet for 3 years, and now they're the model of consistency, fighting for not only a playoff spot, but a division title. They got some playoff experience last year. The problem is the Leafs don't have the draft capital to do that type of sort of a rebuild, retool. And I don't know if it's as simple as, hey, you want to come play for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
It's time for them to rebuild it. And like I said, I think it starts with trading one of Matthews or Nylander.
And Jordan, what are your thoughts on John Tortorella in Vegas?
He always comes back.
Yeah.
I can't wait till Vegas loses in the playoffs or whenever they lose. And then we get fired up Tortorella again.
Yeah, my biggest thing with him is, I'll have to tune into their press conferences because he's a funny guy when he gets interviewed. So some of his New York clips are legendary.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts
in Vancouver?
On,
he had a good run in Vancouver too.
I remember that locker room when he went into tried to go into the Calgary locker room and there was a fight in the hallway. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the move, Michael? Especially this late in the season and Vegas is in the playoffs.
Vegas is in the playoffs, but they haven't played well for 2 months. But it's a Vegas organization that winning is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what they've done to previous coaches and players. So we shouldn't really be surprised. More organizations should operate like that, but for various reasons do not. I know that this type of style would never work in Winnipeg for one. Vegas knows that they can attract basically any free agent that they want, so they can run their business accordingly. And the results have been unsatisfactory, and they decided to do something about it. But the question is, will it be enough? I don't see. I mean, I think firing a coach and winning the Stanley Cup, I think, to me, their goaltending has just not been good enough.
No, it
And
hasn't.
if you're going to pin this on one of the best coaches in Bruce Cassidy,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's 27 teams in the NHL that are considering making a move. And there are 27 coaches in the NHL that are feeling very, very uncomfortable right now with a guy like Bruce Cassidy lurking out there, and certain teams that are looking for upgrades might be able to find one sooner rather than later.
And now we'll get into some debate questions. If the Jets make the playoffs, how far can they realistically go? I think if they get into that 8th spot, I think they could beat Colorado. I think they could pull off the upset because they're basically in playoff mode right now, right? Colorado coasting. So I think if they get into that 8th spot, I think they could be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, remember what happened 2 years ago? We were supposed to play Colorado. We beat them 3 out of 4 in the regular season, and while the playoffs was the gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's a different level the Jets have to get to. They didn't even get there last year when they won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
Do I think that the Jets can go in there and win a game? I do. There's no pressure, and I think when you're not feeling any pressure and you have one of the best goalies in the world, anything can happen. Does it happen? I think McKinnon is about to go into beast mode for levels that we haven't seen yet.
Definitely last year, I'm sure the Jets going into the playoffs and winning the President's Trophy, I'm sure they had a lot of pressure on themselves for sure because they're the top team, right? So maybe going in if they make it, going in as the 8th seed might be less pressure. What do you think about that, Jordan?
I agree. I don't think they're gonna win this series, but I think it would be a competitive series. I think if we can win on the road, that would help.
Honest guys, at times I don't think we were in the same hockey rink on the road.
Yeah. Jets fans, are you confident in this team's playoff chances?
I'm 50-50.
What do you?
I'm leaning towards yes, but I wouldn't be mad if they don't make it either.
I think they will make the playoffs. I'm changing up my prediction from last week. The Jets will make the playoffs. I just think they will make the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah. They have to go 8-1 or 7-2 to have a chance.
Next few games are basically going to decide the season for sure. We'll see if they can finish the job and get into the playoffs.
Game that I would be most worried about is the Chicago game.
Yeah.
You're coming off such a high beating Colorado, and now to basically potentially give it right back up. That would be my worry. Dallas hasn't played the best as of late either. We'll save my Stanley Cup playoff predictions for a couple weeks from now, but I can tell you the Colorado Avalanche are not on my Stanley Cup champion list.
No, the old saying goes, just win, baby, win at this time of year, and you'll get into the playoffs.
I don't think, as we sit here with 2 weeks left in the season, there's a de facto, that team's going to win the Stanley Cup. I don't believe that there's a heavy favorite.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
we thank you for watching, folks. Please like and